You are listening to the SITREP podcast, your source for everything related to historical wargaming. Whether you are looking for the latest wargaming news, reviews, painting tutorials, or playthroughs, you will hear about it right here. So grab your favorite beverage or brush and let's hit it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a next exciting episode of the SITREP podcast. We are one member short today. Our historical editor-in-chief, chief editor, or whatever the official freaking title is that I made up that I cannot remember, is not here. We gave him an extended leave so he can do some romance with his woman. So, you know what that means, guys? It means we can make all kinds of historical shit up, and we don't have to worry about him going over the edge. Outstanding.
Oh, awesome. It'll be like pre-show then.
I feel like I'm on Superman.
You missed an excellent pre-show. I wish we were recording the pre-show. It was spectacular. Gaz was throwing it left and right. We're swinging for the fences. It was outstanding.
Wait,
and facts were not a consideration.
That's right.
I think the issue with facts.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
Dog. All right. So, in the house today is our resident miniature painter, Mr. Gaz. How are you, sir?
I think we're all miniature painters.
Yeah, but you're the Bob Ross. You're the man.
I have not got.
You're the good one, though.
I've really not got the hair for it. Maybe in my ass crack, but not on top. There's a good way to raise the quality line of the show right from the start.
And that's why this isn't on video.
Oh, I thought it was as well. Oh, well,
Holy moly. We're already 2 minutes into the show, and he's already brought up ass cracks. All right. It's going to be one of those days. I can see it now. Yeah, when are we going to see a video from you there, my man? We need some quality painting video.
I deploy on exercise in like 2.5 weeks for nearly a month.
Yeah,
so
it's
not anytime soon.
Yeah, that's all right. We've got lots of stuff going on. All right.
Yeah.
And then on this side of the pond, as they like to say, is our computer guru, the man who talks to computers that talk to him back, Mr. Chris. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I am good.
Are you ready for springtime?
It showed up yesterday about, 11 o'clock?
So the question I have for you, Chris, is how the hell would you know? You never leave your house.
Well, I can see it out my window. Are you jealous?
No, because I'm getting my boat out of storage today and start cleaning her up. All right. Martin? How the hell are you?
Good day, all. Yes. I too am excited that spring seems to have arrived. However, in our neck of the woods, this could be a feint.
I know.
They're trying to lure us in. and then the main assault happens with winter again.
Exactly, because I was just talking to Dawn this morning. We were outside the backyard. I was practice flying my drone and looking around and go, Dawn, when do you want to get your water fountain going? You want to do it around April 1st? And she's like, no, because we're going to get another snowstorm before, around then or after. So we'll see. We shall see. That's Illinois weather for you.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. That's why we don't plant until the middle of May.
Should we force Mother Nature's hand and have us all put our snowblowers away?
Oh, I already put mine away.
No.
I cleaned the gas and put it away.
Mine's
What's
still
a
right at the
snowblower?
front of the garage.
What's a snowblower? It's a big-ass machine that you run down your driveway and sidewalks to move the snow, so you don't have to shovel it.
We just stay in the house until it goes away and then go to work. We've got it done the right way.
Actually, the right way is not having to leave the house to go to work.
Or the way that Jim does it, just live in a place that doesn't have it.
Exactamundo. Speaking of
but
Jim,
if they do get snow, hell froze over.
Yep.
Literally.
So speaking of Jim, like I said, Jim's not with us this week. He's celebrating an anniversary with his lovely lady. So that means we are going to screw this whole show up historically. So
hell yeah.
That's right.
I've got
No
a
adult
list of
supervision.
I've got a historically correct films list ready to talk about right here, right now.
hey, is Patton at the top of the list?
Kelly's Heroes is the top of the list. We're going to talk about how to increase the barrel length on a Sherman tank the right way. We're going to be doing all sorts.
All righty then. Well, as we like to do in traditional format, let's do a quick catch up with everybody. Who would like to go first and tell us what you're doing hobby-wise? Anyone?
I can go first.
Go ahead, Chris.
It's very simple. I haven't done.
You haven't what?
I haven't done anything.
Surprise!
Shocker.
Right?
Did you 3D print my stuff yet?
No.
Crying out loud.
You're home all day, dude.
Are you going to identify the model you want and send it to me?
It's already in the share drive. Pick the one that says Striker. Print. Repeat. But I'm not giving you the path that says Striker on it. For fuck's sake.
You created the damn drive there, Chris. You should know where it is.
And that's why we keep using Google Docs, right?
Well, because some of us are retarded and we just find it easier.
Okay.
And we only use Google Docs for the running order. We don't use it for anything else.
Well, it's a good thing you finally figured out how to share it.
I was going to say, I'm just glad I can edit it now and add my stuff.
Anyway, moving along.
We're supposed to be a professional team here, guys. Come on.
Yeah, we're professional, just not, together.
Right, yeah.
All right. All right, let's take a moment. Recenter ourselves. Let's bring in the Brit. Because the Brit is usually the middle of the road, common sense, no nonsense, can do it all. Gaz, what you been up to in the hobby world?
I was looking over my shoulder at that point. Sorry. What was the question again? So I've been making space.
Making
a number of unfinished projects.
Like outer space?
Made their way to eBay.
Oh, really?
And funded my future hobby. So I've just been having a clear out, really. I got to the stage, I think the other week we chatted about a bit of burnout and a bit of not willing to do certain things, as in just not wanting to pick up a paintbrush, not finding the time, not making the time. So I've started with getting rid of some of the pile.
Okay.
And seeing if that takes the edge off it a little. I found stuff I didn't know I had, which is always good as well. I bought some bolt action a while ago, and I knew I had the infantry boxes. I hadn't realized I'd got the metals, so I've got some extra that I don't have to buy now. Some MMG teams and one of the mortar teams and the bike and sidecar with the MMG on as well. So they were all pretty cool, and they were all things I thought I still needed to buy. So now that I know I bought them anyway, that's good.
Awesome. So I take it you're doing Wehrmacht?
So I'm doing a 1939-1940 German force.
Okay.
Built around the Hitler's Bazaars, really.
Okay.
It's something I bought a while ago. It's one of the more popular games in my community.
Uh-huh.
It's on par with the likes of 40k, which is surprises a lot of people. But yeah, my local club, Bolt Action and 40k, are sort of level pegging with players of both games playing both systems. To be
fair, who wrote Bolt Action?
Yeah, I mean, who wrote nearly all the games?
Right, it's Alessio and Rick Priestley,
it's nearly always an ex-GW staff member that can do it with a little better.
Yeah, it's authors from GW who moved on to Warlord and they wrote Bolt Action. You got Alessio Cavatore and Rick Priestley, so it has some flair of 40k-ish in it. So it's a very popular game. I enjoy it. I mean, I know it's not the most historically, I don't want to say accurate, but it's World War II light. Is that a good way of putting it? Or fast play or something like that, It doesn't get into the weeds a lot. So, it's good. So
I don't think you need the rivet counting that you get in some versions of the games.
My kind of game.
So let me ask you this, Gaz. Now that you've kind of had a purge, Has it relit the fire? The hobby?
It's made some space. It's a yes and no.
Okay.
I'm trying to jump around projects at the minute. Still doing some 3D printing, getting more comfortable with the machine, trying to build the second one to do some scenery, but print some scenery. I think that'll be, when I get that finished, I think that'll be the thing that spurs me back on.
Gotcha.
To historical projects, because I'll be printing out, village centres and town centres, the roads, the lamps, the buildings. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I start seeing that, especially for 28mm, then I'll be picking up Bolt Action. For 15mm, I'll be picking up my Flames of War. And I get my vaccine in 2 weeks.
All right.
So I've been pretty rigid on the rules with, so I've not had anybody over in the flat other than one boss at work since September last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I've not been to anybody else's house. So I think that's part of why I gradually went down the slope of not wanting to do hobby. And, and that and work just going crazy.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed, well, we're not going to get any less crazy, but hopefully I'll be able to squeeze out some hours here and there to put some videos in the vault for those rainy days when we need them, rather than trying to keep to a schedule at the moment, which I just can't do.
Sure. No, I understand. All right. Very good. Marty?
Yes.
Hobby?
Well, so I've been working on my 28mm Afghan National Police.
Uh-huh.
They're almost done. I haven't been working real hard on them, and I have some.
My information is they don't work hard at all. So, I mean, I guess it's fair.
Well, yeah, pretty much. And then I also started doing some of my Afghan civilians.
Okay.
And I primed up. I have a bunch of shepherds for Afghan civilians, so I've got a whole herd of goats and sheep, and I got a couple of donkeys and a cart and whatnot. So I primed that stuff up, but I haven't painted anything there yet.
Gotcha.
But when I get a few minutes and the mood strikes me, I come over and base coat some stuff or start detailing something, whatever, and just kind of keep whittling away at it.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, I did a live stream the other night. I did that memorial build for Walt from Impudent Mortal Terrain. We built his stone cabin. Just a little hour-long
which
video.
Looks nice, by the way.
Yeah. So I still have many more buildings to build. They're in 28mm scale. Like I said, I made the announcement when we hit the 500 on our YouTube, Facebook. We'll have a nice prize pool to give away, and one of those will be the Giant Bear Lodge. It's a huge model, 28mm scale. I don't know the exact dimensions, but it is huge. So it's a full tavern with upstairs rooms, like a hotel, whatever you call it, and you can play D&D, having D&D encounter in there, or Frostgrave, or Rangers of the Shadow Deep, whatever. So we'll be giving one of those away along with a Spectre starter set and a few other things. So also probably the special edition minis that Spectre had just released not too long ago, because I got 2 sets. So it'll be a nice prize pool. We're what, 20, what I looked this morning on YouTube, we're like 23 away from hitting 500. And on Facebook, we're roughly 28 away from hitting 500. So hopefully soon. Very soon.
That's some good growth this year.
Yeah, that's amazing growth. So other than that, I got a special package in this week. I have not even opened it yet.
He said package.
So I got a little box from Warlord. And we will do an unboxing video. So I know a lot of people out there have been doing them already, but we're going to put the SITREP twist on it. So other than that, as you guys may or may not have seen, we revealed our new logo for the channel. And we have new merch. If you go to Zazzle, and I posted it on our Facebook page, you can now get the new T-shirts and sweatshirts, the hoodies. I have to create the coffee mug yet. That was a request, so we'll get that created. Or, excuse me, tea mug. Do you call it a tea mug, Gaz, or a tea cup? What do you call it?
Sorry, I'm just deleting news item 5 that you've just said.
Sorry, buddy.
I'll be back in a minute. I need a brew. I don't. No, it's just a mug.
Okay. All right. So,
well, isn't there a difference between a mug and a cup? Because like a teacup is like the little formal
dainty things,
4 ounce, 6 ounce teacup.
Yeah,
right?
a teacup will chip a tooth, and a mug should knock one out.
Yeah, there you go.
when thrown at a correct angle. Sorry, I forgot to mention the last bit. Volume,
guys,
volume is the difference.
So be on the lookout for those. Also, I know I had somebody request a different T-shirt option because they found that the shirts on Zazzle were a little pricey, and I agree because, obviously we're doing it through a third-party supplier. It's not wholesale for us. So, we're looking at a different option to have you direct order, and I'll ship out, and that should reduce the cost quite a bit. So we're in the process of doing it. But in the meantime, they are available on Zazzle. Other than that,
go to Zazzle and buy it anyway.
We do have to say kudos to the gentleman who is absent today.
Yep. He delivered. He sure did.
Yeah. Jim did the logo.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, you were always all going to love it, weren't you? As soon as he chose what he chose to be the theme.
Yes.
The A10 is it looks epic, and I like how they put the sort of the traditional eyes and the toothed smile on the front as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You
got to do the
job.
shark face on it.
Yeah, he did an excellent job. It was really well done. So there will be different options, and we'll have different graphics coming out. Annie over at Cozy Dice Bags is making a test print of a backpack with the logo on it. I'm hoping to have that soon. So, by the time we do Little Wars, we have some of that, as an example. So outside of that,
she's in the UK, yeah?
Yeah, she's in the UK. So I'll probably have to have her send one to Gaz.
So, Bill, does that mean you're giving up your Dora the Explorer backpack?
Yes, it is. Finally going to retire the Dora the Explorer. Smart ass. All right. Speaking of which, part 1 of the video for Ultra Combat Modern Playthrough is going out Sunday today. So part 1, it's about 45 minutes long, if I remember correctly. The whole video is about an hour 50, but I'm going to edit down the next part. The first part was there was only a few spots where I could edit it down to save some time. Hopefully in the next portion, we'll get it edited down, and that video will probably be roughly an hour, maybe a little less, 15 minutes to an hour. So it'll be 2 parts. And I just want to say, and this will be pointed out in the video, Marty cheated. So...
I didn't cheat. We just perhaps didn't use all the rules.
Well, when Dan rolls 2 1s for his fire mission against you, and you go, oh, geez, now I got to roll for whatever it was, the damage, and you just got pinned or whatever it is. No, 1s are automatic, combat effective, and somehow you survived it like 5 times. So...
You guys, you're forgetting the important thing about that statement, and that's what Gunnery Sergeant Hartman said, that he adapted, he overcame, he did not cheat.
Yeah, that's right. Improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Heartbreak Ridge, come on, people.
Yeah. Oh, another
historical film
movie, so historically accurate, you could write papers off of that movie. There you go, Jim. Just for you, buddy.
I believe the phrase that we used when I was in the Army was, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Or passing in the Army.
All right. So, spoiler alert, he did murder that guy.
Yeah, eventually.
It just took him longer.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, part 2 will be coming out. I don't know exactly when. I got to finish editing it up. I put in some special effects. I'm just letting you all know that now. So it's taking a little longer than a normal edit. So I would like to try and get it out this Wednesday if possible, but if not, it'll probably go out next weekend, to be all fair.
Is it my guy screaming medic for 10 minutes?
There might be a medic call in there. You might hear medic. Just saying.
Because he needs it.
So, yeah. Yeah, we'll go from there. All right. You know what time it is.
Oh, dear God.
It's that special time.
Here we go.
It's news time with Gaz. Give me the latest and greatest news. Oh boy, it's news time with Gaz. Come on, give it to me. Give me the news.
Yeah.
I think it's having less impact on me the more I hear it. So that's a good thing. I don't come out of this traumatized at the end of each session.
So he's numb to it.
It brings joy to my heart every time I hear it. So.
So, what have we got going on this week as a sort of a general overview? I wanted to kick off because we had some guests on our last show, and they're coming into their final week of their Kickstarter. So if you're on Facebook, Bob Mac 3D, otherwise on Kickstarter, it's listed as the 3D printable US vehicles of the Vietnam War. This is some good friends of ours that are running a Kickstarter with a number of stunning-looking vehicles, I might say, available in STL files. The team is, for those that want to know and those that might already know the names, Brad Sanders and Bob McKenzie. Bill, you're a big fan of these two gentlemen, aren't you?
Yeah.
As are we all. And, we're looking at a lovely sort of range of vehicles for the US forces during that period. They're doing really well, to be fair. They're easily funded. They're at 4 times their funding goal. But there's a couple of stretch goals that I know some of the team members want, namely, I think the Sheridan, was it?
Nice.
Is a personal favourite that we want to see the guys reach. But yeah, they're doing okay. They're ticking along nicely. This is their first Kickstarter, but every example, everything they've shown are printed miniatures. They've done it. They've tested it. They've run it. They've given options for stowage. The detail on the sculpts is stunning. And, we're looking forward to getting these files ourselves, aren't we, team, and getting some prints on.
Yeah, they look really good.
If this is your era, you jump on this one. They are some amazing sculpts.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really nice. And I like that you have the plain hull and then you have stowage options. So, and they can be printed on both resin printers and FDM printers. So, I'm interested to see. It just means I need a bigger resin printer so I can print those up.
Yeah, and you can print the stowage by itself, so you can do it any way you put it on your vehicles or pile it up on the ground as a cache or whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
So it's really.
So I think
really
they got
nice
about a week left, Gaz-ish, something like that.
I think when this goes out, it'll be about 7-8 days left. Up to yet, they've got the M113 VADs unlocked, the up-armoured M113, the M132 armoured flamethrower, the Okinawan gun shield and minigun. It's a favourite. The M106 mortar carrier. As we said, the extra stowage, which has all sorts of bits and pieces in it, from barbed wire to ammo cans, smoke grenades, kit bags, jerry cans. Even for a lot of modern systems in that period, these will be ideal.
Yeah.
And for those of you that want to check out the files, if you wish to sort of try before you buy, there's a free sample file of a 106mm recoilless gun. So if you want to see what it actually is all about and you've got a printer at home, that'll be an option for you to do.
There you go, guys. Check it out. All right, what's our next item for today?
Next one's going a little further into the past, so to speak. Test of Honor, 2nd edition. So pushing back into this era, this is an era that I really like, around the sort of the samurai and the bringing together of all the different clans and such. And they've added a new unit, the Ashigaru with Ozutsu, I want to say it's pronounced as. It's basically a large hand cannon. And, it kind of brings some real punch to the battlefield. It's got a shorter range than the muskets, but it does dish out considerably more damage. And it's a 3-model team. It's another new set to add to the forces. And I really like how, although sort of Test of Honor almost sort of bit the dust at one point.
Yeah,
it's had a resurgence, and not only is it still going strong, but there's new units and such coming out for it on a semi-regular basis. So it's great to see the guys bringing something new to the table, something with a lot of punch. And this one's got some flavor to it in the traits that you can upgrade it with. It's got a couple of traits. It can have smoke clouds, and that's where they've been putting in powder that brings more smoke, which gives them a screen once it's been fired. So it gives them some sort of protection visually. And too much gunpowder, where they really want to put the damage down, and they've packed it to its brim before letting go with a salvo. But that can take out your own guys at the same time.
Wow. Well, it's cool to see its resurgence because, believe it or not, I have the initial pre-order box set from Warlord, and I have yet to open it other than one set. Because I opened it, I looked at the minis, and I went, holy crap, there are a lot of parts. So that's what kind of put me off from it, is that the minis have a lot of parts to them. So... But yeah, I do have it, and I'm a part of the Facebook page, and it definitely has a big fan following. So that's good to hear. Awesome.
And they're good looking sculpts, and you're not kidding, Gaz. That is a handheld cannon. They're huge.
It's not a wick; it's a rope out the back. It's a bit of a monster. I don't fancy tucking that into my... In fact, you two like your firearms. How about picking one of them up and let's have a go down the range with it?
No. I don't think so. Only if Marty holds it.
Yeah. Yeah, about that. The problem isn't picking one up these days. Over here, the problem is
gunpowder.
Trying to get enough gunpowder to fire that thing.
Yeah, we can't get freaking bullets, man.
No, it's not bullet. That's cannonball.
Yeah. Well, we can't get any kind of ammo. So, I think I went to a store yesterday, and all they had was some 22, and that was it. So,
I'm surprised they had that.
Right?
That's all right. Ball bearings will do.
But you got to have the powder to shoot it, and you can't even get powder. So, because I was thinking about doing some reloads, and we can't even get the parts to reload. So, oh well. All right, what's next? Moving on.
Moving on, coming to a favorite of mine, which is Flames of War. The German Bagration book is now kicking around on the Warlord site. Wow, getting my companies mixed up there. On the Battlefront Miniatures site. This is the third German book for the Late War series, having already seen the D-Day Germans and the Waffen-SS. It's nice to see them continue into the Bagration series. This is sort of straight after, or the last release for this set of era was the Soviet book, which gives them a nice force now to engage. Get some real nice T-34s versus Panzer IVs and such. It gives lots of details on the new formations that are available for fighting in that theatre. It does cover pretty much from the Eastern Front, including options to fight from Finland in the north to Romania and Hungary in the south. And the era is from sort of January 44 to January 45. I'll throw you over to our historical editor. Thanks, Jim. And back to it. So these books are always great quality, a solid product, and they contain a nice mix of history and sort of game-related details as well. But in 15mm, when it comes to World War II, Flames of War have had this sort of buttoned up for a while now. We know what we're going to get. We know it's good quality, and it's just whether you like how it plays or not.
That's awesome. Nice segue there, Gaz.
Should I just say long story short and then mumble incoherently for 10 minutes to simulate Jim?
No, don't do that. Take your shot now. In more than one way, it seems. Jim will be listening to this, swearing, and come back with daggers down the microphone. But that would have been where I would have kicked it across to Jim, because he would have been able to tell us a lot more than all of us combined know about what happened through Finland, Romania, and Hungary during 44-45. Awesome. I could see this getting some additional books in relation to almost the supporting elements, maybe an allied book, to sort of start to flesh it out and see what other nations are brought into the combat in that area. It'll be interesting. Something we'll keep an eye on.
Very cool. All right. I think you got one more piece for us today?
Well, I have now. You shut down our logo set earlier.
We can talk about it again. It's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And Jim Oriskany Designs did a great job on that. But Bill's already milked that cow dry, hasn't he? So, Futsal Miniatures and Games, along with the Warhost team, are bringing the third Barons War Kickstarter. This is going to cover the conflict of the Magna Carta, 1215 to 1217. You guys won't know about that. You didn't even exist.
Here we go.
Here we go again. Okay.
This is a medieval miniatures range, 28mm, and the models are lovely. They're consistent. They've done a whole heap of stuff already for a number of medieval periods, including this one. And the character that they've got into their miniature ranges is just excellent. This latest one's named Death and Taxes, which is quite funny in relation to the actual Magna Carta conflict. It's going to Kickstarter. That's generally how they do their runs each time. I think it's just a good way for a lot of companies to not overinvest, because they know the numbers, they know what they need to do. These guys have already done a couple, so they know what they're doing. They've got the process. Where they're stepping it up now with their latest ones are, with each Kickstarter you get the new rules, you get the miniatures, and in this one they've tied in with the Lion Tower Miniatures team to do some terrain options. So you get some village buildings, palisade. So there's some options within this Kickstarter that's bringing you to the point where you can go to, put your money in, get miniatures, the scenery, and the rules, and pretty much be set to go on your table.
Nice. Excellent.
I mean, is that appealing? Would you say that's more appealing to you guys, to be able to buy in to furnish everything in a single hit?
I would say, for me personally, yes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's, it may not be something that everyone wants to do, depending on, are you already into that? Do you have a bunch of stuff? But if you don't, and you're trying to get into it, or if you only have a little bit and you're trying to flesh it out, that's a great way of doing it in one fell swoop.
Right. Yeah. So, that's pretty awesome. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Amazing miniatures.
Yeah. I like all the colors and the, the knights, the mounted knights, and, all that good stuff. So,
all the heraldry and the barding on the horses. And it is really a vibrant sort of period with lots of freehand potential or really good transfers and such that you can put on a lot of stuff now.
Exactly. You know what it reminds me of, Gaz? It reminds me of Monty Python.
Okay, yeah.
The Holy Grail.
I was actually looking at some STL files today that are literally the Monty Python night with the guy with the coconuts behind him, clacking them together. So they are out there. They're at Highland Miniatures on Patreon.
Awesome.
Who also you can pick up through what's it called? My Mini Factory. So they do. They do the STL files. You can buy direct through them through Patreon, or you can go onto My Mini Factory, and on there, then you're able to get the model or the miniature, rather than have to print it yourself. So a few companies are doing that now. In fact, guys, there's one for you with the news. If you're interested in anything, sort of random models from historical to wild and wonderful, head over to My Mini Factory and see what's kicking around on there. It's pretty amazing, to be fair. I'm not sure where it caters to in postage and delivery, but there's STL files there that you can buy, and there is a lot of stuff that you can purchase, and the model can be sent to you that way.
Very cool. I dare anybody out there to print up and paint the Monty Python and put them on a Baron's War table. That would be awesome. And send us a picture, and we'll send you a prize.
I'm not sure the Black Knight would do very well based on the
Oh, my
miniature.
God, that'd be hilarious. Do they have the one where he's
So
armless?
you got to do like 4 versions of the Black Knight, though. So every time he loses something.
Every wound lost is a limb missing.
Oh,
is it?
God. That is awesome. All right.
Get this magnet.
So, as we transition from the news, I don't have an outro for you, Gaz. I'm going to have to work on that. It is
I wish you didn't
time.
have an intro. Sorry.
I've already got some ideas. I'll send it over later, Bill.
Oh,
Excellent.
no.
All right.
You
So,
guys get too much about this.
topic time. It's story time. Gaz, you had a topic for this week. Hit us.
Yeah, every week we're coming up with sort of a topic to bring to discussion. Mine this week is what board games could we make to tabletop war games, and should we? This is something that's I've been thinking about this one for a long time. I do have like a retirement project if I ever reach that in the back of my head, and that's to bring Escape from Colditz, the board game, and make it as a miniatures table.
Oh, that'd be cool, actually. Okay, you won me on that one. That would actually be
Yeah,
cool.
that would.
Yeah. I put the car in there. I know somebody's done it already, as in they at least did the German models and the characters as infantry. But I'm not sure if they went as far as doing sort of an open top castle to be Colditz itself. But the more I think about how the board and the size of the board, I think it can easily be rescaled to have a miniature fit in the relevant movement areas, and every part of it, I think, could potentially be done that way. So saying, I did drop it to Paul Deeming at WoW Buildings in a message at one point, and he said, "Yeah, that might already be on the cards in the future." So I'm going to be keeping a sharp watch out for that. I just love the idea of that. Being played out as a miniatures game. I mean, whether you change the rules or not wouldn't really matter, I don't think. I think you could do it either way. You could literally pick up the board game, just make it 3D and play the game, or you could bring in some different rule systems to bring it into a scenario, or maybe a sort of a campaign instead. But yeah, that's definitely one board game I'd like to see transition into a tabletop miniatures game.
That is an excellent idea.
Have any? Yeah.
I mean, I love that game. I bought the reissue, so I really enjoy that game. We've played that several times. So no, that's an excellent. I never even would have thought that. That's an excellent idea. I don't know. Does anybody else have another board game they'd like to see turned into a miniatures game? I can't.
It's a tough one without really thinking, thinking back and looking again.
The first thing that comes to mind for me isn't a military war game, though.
Okay.
And it's something that's near and dear to Dawn's heart, and that would be the Harry Potter miniatures game, because the miniature game is a board game.
Yeah. But don't they have miniature rules for it, though?
No, not really. I mean, they've got the rules for the table,
right?
But they're kind of, you could make those freeform pretty easy, I think, and be able to adapt that to a miniature table.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But the only thing about that is that Gaz isn't here to finish painting them all. So that's we're safe on that one for a while.
They are still sitting there primed, Gaz.
Let's put it this way:
I did the faces at least.
There are still the ones that Gaz was working on that are primed, that are still sitting there, and then she still has about 50 boxes of stuff still in the box in the wrap. So yeah,
and that's probably a conservative estimate.
So yeah, she keeps looking at me going, "When are you going to paint those?" And I'm like, "Well, I'll get to them sooner or later." So yeah, no, that's a good idea. So, yeah.
I mean, is there any sort of strategy games or sort of large level planning games that would even become a campaign rather than necessarily a tabletop game. So you could use Flames of War for. I mean, we've talked in the past about the Pacific, for example, and doing the ships off the coast, bringing in artillery fire that are off board, but the actual landings, but at much smaller scales, the 6 mils and the GHQ site models.
The only thing that comes to mind is like Axis and Allies, but they used to have miniatures.
Right.
As far as a strategy board game, unless you get into like hex and counter games, then you got a whole plethora of games that you could do. You got War in the Pacific, and and people have done miniature versions of like Panzer Blitz and Panzer Leader and that kind of stuff. So, but from a purely board game, I really can't think of anything outside of the ones we just mentioned. So, but I think your coldest one is probably a really good one. That I would love to see the castle.
Yeah, that's one that needs to happen.
Yeah, that definitely does.
It's one of them where you want the walls, but you don't want the roof because you'd never be able to play inside it.
Yeah,
right.
That would be really cool. I think that'd be awesome. Awesome, very good topic. Excellent. So, guys out there, if you have ideas, what you would think would be an excellent transition from a board game to a miniatures-based game, put it in the comments below. Let's hear your ideas. We'd really like to see your input because we might steal it and build it. So, we're not above thievery. So,
no, we will merely help you bring your ideas to life.
Oh,
we will
adapt.
We will overcome. I just keep saying it. It works for everything. Works for everything.
That's right.
Alrighty then. Okay, we're transitioning to the 1800s of the American nation. A time of rift, brother against brother, the American Civil War. So, like I said, I received a box from Warlord with the Epic Battles American Civil War, the pre-order bundle. I have not opened it yet. I'm saving it for our friends and family and our audience, so we can do an on-screen unboxing and discussion.
Stuff them. You can open it twice.
Yeah, right. Tell them, Gaz.
Call yourself a hobbyist holding stuff box.
So, but I've been.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Billy or Marty can help you because he used to unwrap all of his Christmas gifts, rewrap them.
That's true. I'm an expert.
So, I've been watching other people's unboxing videos, and they're good, but I think we can do better. I think we can spice it up a little bit, make it a little saucy. But what I've noticed, and this is kind of where my topic goes, is where do we go from the, I think they're on wave 3 already, and the freaking game already came out. So when you look at the initial sprues, they're all identical. You get, I think, 10, 20 sprues of each side, and they're essentially identical. How do we, and when you put them all online, after a while, there isn't a lot of variety, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of all meshes together. And granted, it is an army versus army, but if you are a student of that time period, there was so much variation in uniforms and colors and equipment that it doesn't look identical. In the beginning of the Civil War, the Union Army did not have the equipment it needed, so you had people from all over the north part of the country making uniforms and, whatever rifles they can get, so you have different colors, you have different styles of uniforms. Certain battalions were sponsored by rich families or governments, state governments, so their equipment was different than, other states or other regiments or battalions. So, and then the Southern, for a lot of it, you had hodgepodge uniforms, and people were bringing their hunting rifles, to combat. So, from that aspect, I would like to see more variety. Now, technically, you could paint a little bit. If you want to get crazy, you could green stuff. I ain't doing that. I'm telling you right now. This is what they call 12 millimeter, which is really 15, I think. So.
And that's a lot of green stuff,
right?
If you were to
exactly
go the conversion route.
The easy way is you paint up, your Union guys with, the Union blue and the lighter blues, and you can do different washes to give them different tonality and do a little bit of, detail work here and there. But then the question becomes, how do we variate on those? And one of the answers I came up with is believe it or not, I backed a Kickstarter of some American Civil War guys. I think they're in 15 mil, STL files. And so I'm going to make sure that I can scale them so they're roughly within the same and mix those in with these guys so we get some variety. And I know that Warlord's going to probably put out variety, when they come out with different sculpts. I think right now, what's the third wave? Is it the Zoevs? And
no, I think I want to say that's the second. There's dismounted cavalry come in. There's skirmishers come in.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of sets that have already sort of been announced. I think I want to say the Zoevs were the second wave.
Okay. Yeah. You're probably right, Cass. So I just want to, because I'm a visual gamer. I'm all about how does it look when you're down in the board, trees and fence and grass and all that stuff. I like the visual aspect. So I want it to be visually pleasing or, gets the soul stirring, if you will. And then I have 2 books that are excellent resource books for the American Civil War that have like full colored maps, illustrated maps that are illustrated from almost the point of view of a bird overlooking a battlefield, and each individual soldier is individually, it's not like just maps with figures, like the war maps, but it's actually illustrated with actual men, and it really brings you in, and it's an excellent reference. I can't remember who writes them, though. I'll put the link in below. I have to go pull them out of my library, but they're excellent books. Because, I want to build a battlefield that we can do these games on. So that'll be coming as well. But, where do you go from here? And I'm talking, where does Warlord take epic battles outside of the American Civil War? Where do you think they should go next? It was a good, I mean, a lot of people are saying Napoleonics. I mean, I think that's pretty much a given, right? It would easily translate to Napoleonics. So let's take Civil War and Napoleonics out of it. Where do you think epic battles, because it's a mass battle game, what would you think would be the next best avenue for them to go with it? Let us know in the comments. And guys, if you have any suggestions, Gaz or Marty or Chris, where would you like to see them take epic battles next?
I'd like to take them to the Zulu Wars.
Yes! There you go.
Yeah, I was thinking Works Drift kind of deal.
Then the Alamo. Works Drift. You are so on it.
Oh, the Alamo would be a good one.
Oh yeah, we have I've got, believe it or not, I backed the Alamo STL files. So not only do we have a 28 millimeter,
2 Alamos.
So we have the 28 millimeter Alamo from Sarissa Precision. I backed that Kickstarter. I backed the second Kickstarter, which is the STL files, which we can do in 15 mil.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think those two sort of be your go-tos outside of Napoleonic straight away.
I tell you what, on my personal Facebook page, I had reposted some pictures from 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago, Gaz? When we did Rorke's Drift in Ireland?
It must have been more than that now, actually, yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago, buddy. 2 or 3 years ago now, where we were last in Ireland. I think it's the last time you and I... No, it's had 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. I think that was the last time we saw you. Was Ireland.
No, he came over for Thanksgiving.
I came over after that.
Okay, all right. Well, anyways, so we did Rorke's Drift in 28 mil, and it was an amazing day. It was an amazing day. But I would love to see that in 15 mil. That would be awesome. Or Islane Wana. That would be good, too.
Yeah, I think it opens up your options then to not only play on this table that's fairly compact for the traditional sort of Zulu film, but also to look at Zulu Dawn, where we got slaughtered. So there's a lot more. In fact, even the tribal wars themselves, as the likes of, as they sort of absorbed and conquered other tribes, you could literally open it up so much more.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to get crazy, you could do like Little Bighorn, Custer's Last Stand.
You could probably do that. Yeah.
You could do Thermopylae,
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have a lot to add, yeah.
So
that opens up a large Persian army, definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it opens up avenues.
And the way to win that one is have them already play the Persians.
In fact, as soon as you touch on sort of Greece or Rome, I mean, Rome's kind of done to death at most scales, but the Greeks are up to a point. But the interstate wars of Greece, they each nation, each state, they were pretty unique in how they looked as a force, with the possible exception of the Athenians, who generally used a lot of mercenary troops. So obviously we know the Spartans visually and some of the others, but to sort of branch out into the various states, I imagine we'd find quite a kaleidoscope of hoplites.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So there is still many, many avenues, and there's probably a ton more that people are out there shouting, hey, how about this? So, I mean, it's nice that, for mass battles that you have this as an option. So look for our unboxing/review when I actually open it, and we'll do it live.
And put your comments below, and let us know what you think where Epic Battle should go next.
Exactly. All right, Marty, we're going to transition over to your topic there, my friend.
All right. Well, as you know, I do a fair amount of terrain, and one of the things that I've been thinking about as I start to do a little planning for a future project is, when is it most appropriate to scratch build some stuff versus just buying some stuff, and then throwing in the mix, which is kind of a combination of both, the 3D print something as well if you have access to a 3D printer. Because I think sometimes if you scratch build it, you have full control. Right. You can make it look exactly the way you want, given your skill set and supplies and so that's kind of nice. Additionally, if you're scratch building it, it's at your pace. So if it's something that you need right now, versus buying it and then maybe having to wait for it to arrive, then assemble paint, blah, 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 that may be a faster process for you. Right. Unless, of course, you're me, which takes, 6 weeks to build 5 little foam houses. But we're not here to talk about that. But if you, let's say you were going to buy some MDF terrain, you can make the purchase. It has to arrive there. So, like I'm in the U.S., so if I'm buying from, say, Blacksite Studios, that's one thing to get that shipped up from Texas. But if I'm buying from Sarissa and it's got to come from the U.K., that could be a much longer process. Right. So depending on, my time frame that I have, if I perhaps fail to appropriately plan and went, oh, crap, I really want this building from Sarissa, they'll fulfill the order quickly, but then we're at the mercy of however it's being delivered to us, how long that takes. And then there's 3D printing. I mean, 3D printing is pretty much on demand, unless, of course, I'm waiting for Chris to 3D print something for me.
Wow.
Man. I'm sorry. I thought you had a 3D printer there, Marty.
I don't have a resin 3D printer.
You never said something had to be resin.
Yeah, whatever. Try to worm your way out of it. You still ain't printed me shit, mister. I got this.
I haven't printed you shit. The first thing I printed was for you, dickhead.
Yeah, and you haven't printed shit since.
Why would you print shit?
I placed my order. and perhaps I'm doing a pigsty. You don't know what terrain I'm doing, Gaz. maybe I don't know shit.
What scale?
Right. Anyway, moving on.
No, but so one of the projects I'm doing, I talked about this a little bit last time, is that a friend of mine was in a pitch battle in Afghanistan, and he wants to do a kind of a display board kind of deal. Not quite diorama because we want to be able to play on it, but a high quality table. And I'm doing the math on that, and I'm like, okay, I figured out how big it needs to be, and I think I've got the basic terrain features figured out. And now it's, do I want to build all of that, or do I need to buy something? That's a lot of work. You know, or like our one day build that we want to do.
Yeah.
You know, how many trees are we going to need for that?
A lot.
A lot. Yeah. So, you know, do you want to build all those trees? Probably not. But then I've been looking around and I'm like, I don't know that I see any trees I really like. So it's going to have to be maybe not scratch build, but, you know, buy something and then
the nice thing about, you know, in this case for that board, it's winter. So we want a lot of bare trees and fir trees, right? For the bare, we can just go to nature and get trees. You know, I have a ton of branches and stuff in my yard that we can prune and make little trees with. Happy little trees, right, Gaz? Happy little trees.
So let me see if I got this right. You want me to do your spring cleanup, and you're going to call it a hobby project.
Works for me.
I see where this is going.
But no, I mean, doesn't that make sense?
I wasn't born yesterday.
You know,
and she's got 2 dogs, so you'll get real scale shit as well.
We literally have
1-to-1.
You know, we literally have an unlimited supply of, you know, small branches and stuff that we can use as the trees for this board. You know, the you know, So, you know, and then, you know, then from there we just need to get fir trees, conifers, whatever hell you want to call them, evergreens, and go from there. So I think that might be the solution we go, and it's cost savings too. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and that's something else to throw in the mix is obviously the more work that has been done by somebody else, the more you're going to pay for it. So like MDF terrain, while it's not horribly priced, it's probably going to be more expensive than me scratch building something out of say foam or cork. Right. But they've already done all the work. They've done all the design stuff. I just need to assemble it and paint it. Correct. So, I mean, that's worth somebody's time. That's obviously something to consider. You know, same, STL files, you know, for 3D printing. While you can find a lot of free stuff, don't get me wrong, you can go on Thingiverse and whatnot and find some free ones. Generally speaking, if you are looking for a specific item and you want it to be, you know, the good quality item, you're probably going to pay for it, whether it's through a Patreon or through another website, particularly My Mini Factory. I like Thingiverse has some that you can buy as well. But I really think I find more on My Mini Factory, as well as there's
sponsored by My Mini
plethora
Factory.
of people that just sell stuff off of their own web page and whatnot. You know, and of course the many Kickstarters.
Exactly, the many Kickstarters. But you know, the nice thing about 3D printing is the initial cost, entry cost is low, but the time cost is high. Because you know, when you're looking at some of the buildings, like I'm looking at the watermill that I printed from Printable Scenery and the small house from Printable Scenery, which I printed on an FDM printer. The watermill, I want to say, took me 70 hours to print, if that, maybe more. It was, you know, it's a long time. And then you have to paint it and, you know, all that stuff. I mean, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. But, however, truth be told, now the resin printers are getting much faster. Much faster. So, you know, if you can get a decent build volume on a resin printer, you're reducing those tens of hours to, you know, a much lower number. So, I mean, it depends on what you want and what look you're going for, you know. I mean, just so everybody out there is aware, all the buildings that you will see in our Ultra Combat Modern video, Marty built. So, and he built those with foam core, yes, and cardboard. Yeah. So, and they look amazing.
Built from foam.
Yeah, I mean, the corrugated roofs look amazing. You know, but you said, how long did it take you to build those?
Working for a couple hours, a couple nights a week, about 5 weeks in total.
So roughly hour-wise.
So I didn't, you know, and it's not like I did one building a week kind of thing. I mean, that's what it averages out to. Yeah. But, you know, I was batch building them. So I built all the walls. Yeah. And then I built all the roofs, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then, you know, once everything was all painted up, I went back and did all of the detail work, putting in, flock and grass and plants and stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, they look really good.
I think another part of this in relation to time management versus production is, what's your source material and have you done it before? 3D printing, for example, if you're comfortable with it, or the files are pre-supported, if it's, a complex shape like a tree, or if it's just put it on a printer and let it run for a few days of the week in the background, your time investment at the beginning and end is fairly low. Buying it all ready to go, pre-colored, is obviously going to be the best way, but only if you see what you want.
Yeah. And
to scratch build, again, is coming back to, Marty, have you got the Terrain Essentials book by Mel Bosch yet?
I have not.
I know it's something we chatted about.
There's one place locally that had it, and
Amazon's
it sold out before I got to it.
No,
is it on Amazon?
Is available. Now? Yeah, it's on Amazon now.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were doing Amazon sales.
Yeah, I got a Kickstarter book. Surprise, but no, we know Mel, and so we had an in, but
again, using that as a guide, and his videos will cut down the time for learning your learning process and your learning curve due to having the information to hand. So.
Yeah, well, I am a Terrainiac. I do follow him on the YouTube. I've watched Facebook and many a video.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just like Mel.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, for anybody out there who does not know about Terrain Essentials, it was a book that he created with Dave. Dave Taylor.
Taylor.
Dave Taylor.
And I don't know if you guys know, Gaz, I don't know if you saw this announcement. Dave Taylor has a third book that he'll be announcing soon. So you had his book, Armies in Miniature, and then Terrain Essentials. Yep. And now there's going to be a third book that I don't know who he's working with on this one, but he'll be announcing that shortly. So guys, be on the lookout for that. Go ahead.
Did Dave do Legions and Hordes as well?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the name of the book. Yeah, that's the name of the book. Legions and Hordes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, I have that book too. So, be on the lookout for that. But for anybody out there who's really into making your own terrain or building boards and stuff, definitely pick up Terrain Essentials. And you will get a lot of information there. It's a good resource. Even if you're an experienced terrain builder, there's always good stuff in there. It's really geared towards, I'd say, a novice, wouldn't you say, Gaz?
I think novice done a few things.
Yeah.
But there's waterfalls in there, for example, which is definitely beyond, as a starting point, it's definitely beyond novice.
Yeah.
The other place to check out is obviously YouTube. He's called The Terrain Tutor on YouTube, and he has a Facebook page with Terrainiacs, where guys use the methods and their own to create some crazy, amazing things, which I'm sure Marty sees very often as well.
Right.
What you can do with a Coke can.
Some of the stuff those guys, if you're looking just for inspiration, just peruse through there, and you can search by obviously whatever, by topic or whatever.
Yep.
And there's just some awesome projects. Be like, oh, I never thought I could do that with the Pringles can.
Yeah. So, just so you guys know, when we do our one day table build, I will be showing you how to do waterfalls and water effects. Because there's a technique on how. Because when I did the water mill, I actually have water running off the blades down, so it looks like running water. So I'll show you guys how to do that.
So we're going to put a waterfall in there too?
Well, yeah. Got to have a stream with a little waterfall.
I knew we were going to do a river, but I didn't know that you want to do a waterfall.
Multi-elevation.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
So, Matt, is your field going to be, as in how to put this? You're not using a mat for your board, obviously. You're going to be using, some form of compressed foam, etc.
Yes.
I think that matters in that, depending how detailed that is, should dictate what level of detail your buildings are.
Right.
Because if your rock faces of simple cut, then a 3D printed building of high detail with each brick picked out might not look right in the setting.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Excellent point.
Yeah. Yeah, true that.
Yeah, that might look really out of place if you have this highly detailed buildings and then, your place areas, I hate to use the word generic or simple, but, it's not to the detail. That's an excellent point. So, yeah.
Well, there's one difference on that, though, is you can have the buildings and the terrain look very basic because it is. And then, the Chinook is going to be very detailed and modern.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for my Afghan one, yeah.
Stone Age and Modern Age.
And should be here next week. So I'm happy about that. Yes, I ordered a 1/48 scale Chinook.
Nice.
Bill, did you ever get that Blackhawk?
I may have also ordered an Apache.
Oh, dear.
Hopefully he'll take more time on it than he did the A10.
Hey, now.
I took my time on sort of on the A10. So on my A10, I got to admit, I did go crazy because it comes with like 3 different ordnance loadouts.
Uh-huh.
Turns out if you space them just right, you can fit them all on there at the same time. So I did.
Would it have lifted?
I'm going to assume you exceeded its takeoff weight.
Turns out it makes it so heavy that I can't get the front end to lay down, even though I weighted it.
Jeez. Awesome. So,
now I gotta figure out a flight stand for it.
So for the actual board for this project, Marty, is this mountainous terrain?
Yes, it's like foothill. It's not cliffs so much.
Okay.
It's before you get that far.
Okay.
But yeah, all of it is sloped terrain.
And are there going to be like rock faces and stuff that have to be done?
A little bit
here and there.
I mean, it's really more sandy, rocky environment.
Gotcha.
Couple outcroppings here and there, but not like cliff faces or anything.
Okay, cool. All right. Wow, that pretty much wraps up everything. This is kind of an abbreviated show. We're, a short show today.
So the whole show is long story short.
Yeah. We don't have a historical editor to keep us on the straight and narrow. So, we're making fun in his absence, but we love you, Jim.
That's true. We do.
He's what keeps us legit. So, otherwise we'd be just a bunch of goofballs, talking stupid stuff. So.
And
films,
I say that I
historical
didn't learn
movies.
anything today.
What's that?
I didn't learn anything historical today.
Mm-hmm. Well,
We always learn when Jim's around.
That's right.
That's right. Gonna learn.
So, guys, just a quick recap. Today is the part 1 of the Ultra Combat Modern playthrough. Hope you guys enjoy that. Please make sure you comment on that, share it with your friends. Anybody that might be interested in that aspect. We also have a few other projects in the works. We're going to be, I think Marty and Chris and I are going to get together and film or live stream. We'll have to figure it out. The design process of what we want the table to look like, the one-day build table. So we'll do a live stream of how we're going to design that, and then go from there. So
that'll be good times.
Yep. And, just a lot of other little things. So you guys, we're into spring. Hopefully it energizes some of you and other things. And I think on the next show, we're going to talk about the seasons and how it affects your gaming. Because I know in some places, the warmer weather slows down gaming, and in other places it doesn't. So that'd be an interesting topic to talk about. So,
well, guys, and hopefully with the COVID environment, hopefully improving where folks are at.
Yep.
That will increase the ability to get out and actually play in person.
Exactly. That'll be nice. So we're going to actually get that. And remember, we'll be at Little Wars the end of April. Watch for further announcements on that. And remember, check out our merchandise. the new shirts. They look pretty awesome. And on the back, you have the new logo, and on the front, you have the little team patch. It's modeled after the 1st Special Services Brigade from World War II. So take a look at that as well. All right, guys. For Gaz, Chris, and Marty, this is Bill, and we want to thank you for joining us on this latest and greatest episode of the SITREP podcast. Until we see you, have a great time gaming. We want you all take care. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to the SITREP podcast. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our channels on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Discord. Remember to join us every other weekend for a new episode of the podcast, and don't forget our other programming on Wednesdays and Sundays. Thanks for listening.